SDK, please take it away. Thanks for being here.
Oh, you're so welcome. I very rarely have slides, but I did create some slides, and the link will be in the chat for you to download that value or to look at it. And I wanted to say thanks for having me. Thanks for paying attention. One of the things I love to do is inspire groups with what is possible with your natural abilities. So I've been a coach for about 16 years, started in real life, and then came into the online space in 2010. And I noticed something really intriguing about myself, that I had this natural ability to build rapport with people online, on social media, and actually create clients from that, create conversations from that. So taking people from a social media post and bringing them into my world. Back then it was on Skype, now it's on Zoom. And the amazing part of that is it's fueled so much of my business. So I'm super inspired today to kind of give you a little peek behind the scenes and really let you know that it's totally possible to build your business organically, to meet more people, and to actually expand your reach. I'm here today because I received an email asking me to be here. Never heard of the group, don't know Taylor, had no idea what I was jumping into. And I got this email and I thought, hmm, well, this is interesting. How did they find me? How did they hear about me? I still don't have any idea. I'll have to meet with Taylor and find out. But I knew that the concept of what they were doing here resonated with not only what I do in my free Facebook group and also what I do in my paid community. So, coming here and providing value, what happens when I show up here and provide value to all of you? I might end up with some new people on my email list, some new followers, some new fans, or some people who just say, huh, I liked what she said. I liked her vibe. Let me go check out what she does, SuzanneTaylorKing.com. Super easy to do that, right? So I'm going to share with you some of those tips today. I'm going to share my screen. And if you want to just highlight me or spotlight, you'll be able to see those slides a little bit bigger. So what we're going to talk about today is turning online connections into paying clients. Yes, please, and thank you. And you'll notice I am scheduled hair a little bit shorter in this picture. I'm actually scheduled for a haircut right after this. So, yeah, somehow I neglected getting a haircut for a while. Why does this matter and why should you be excited about it? Because you don't have to do some fancy funnel for this. You can be totally findable SEO wise and AI searchability wise, which is super cool when people find me through AI. It also allows you to be more relatable with your ideal clients. I guarantee if any of you are my ideal clients in this room, by the end of the presentation, you're going to want either my freebie or you're going to want to have a conversation with me. And even if that's only one of you, this is a really great use of my time, even though I normally get paid to speak. So, this intentional growth and intentional connecting is what I'm talking about. And if it's intentional for you, it's so much more authentic. How do you do that? You have to know who your dream client is so you can show up in rooms full of them. And how do you do that? You have to have the desire to actually want to work with them and really be so in love with your ideal client that when you show up for them, in front of them, they say, oh my God, she's going to hold my heart and kick my ass. Oh my gosh, she's exactly the type of person who would motivate me and not, put up with my excuses. And does she have the expertise? You definitely want to show and highlight your expertise and then believe you can make a difference for people. So if you have all of those three, desire, expertise, and belief, you can show up in rooms and attract your ideal clients. And I would argue in the feed on social media, if you're posting authentically, those people who comment are your ideal clients, and you can actually connect with them and get them on a call with you. Now, how do you do that? You have to build a presence on social media and within yourself. There's a little piece of charisma, there's a little piece of confidence that comes with that. And again, it comes back to the belief that you
Uh,
can actually, yes, everything okay?
yep.
Oh, okay. So you want to build a presence that actually connects with people, not too stuffy, sharing your story. I share stories all the time of when I first started because my ideal client is somebody like me 5, 10, 15 years ago. And you can teach what you do by how you live and how you show up. So, those authentic lessons, and I would argue the negative lessons are what sells your expertise. Now, how do we do that with conversations? 3 steps. People have to trust you. They have to trust that what you're saying is true, it's believable, that you're actually getting results for your clients. Have at least 50 recommendations on LinkedIn from ideal clients. Have at least another 50 testimonials on your website from ideal clients because people will read those more than they will read your sales pages. Don't be afraid to initiate contact. Don't be afraid when somebody new comments on your post or sends you a sales pitch in the DMs. Don't be afraid to say no, thank you, and change the topic of the conversation to actually connecting and being of value to each other. I have flipped more sales scripts in the DMs into either clients or connections of mine than I can count on at least 20 hands of people. And when you lead with value, and I call it massive value all the time, you have to give away almost everything you know. Leave it all. Leave it all, and people will hire you for the implementation of that. Now, how do we go from that conversation to actually a client? That natural transition of a get to know you conversation, that when it's your turn to talk about what you do and explain how you help people, the person across from you leans in and says, "Oh my God, I need that." That's how you know you're on the right track with connecting with people intentionally. When the people that you're talking to, the people that you're lucky enough to get to know, they actually ask you how to work with you. That's my dream. Well, why? Because then I don't have to sell myself. The other person leans in and says, "How do I hire you? How do I work with you?" And selling the outcome. This is key. Don't sell your modules. Don't sell your features. Talk about the feeling that your clients or customers have after working with you. And please keep in mind, people only buy 3 things: more money, more time, and more sex. So if your offer does not have at least 2 of those things, you need an offer makeover. And by sex, I mean feeling better, feeling healthier, losing weight, making you more attractive. Why do you think skincare is so popular with women my age? Because it promises to make me look better. So your offer, if it can incorporate all 3 of those things, it's immediately better selling. And then if people trust you and like you, and you're selling more money, more time, and you're going to make me look better too, oh my gosh, it's a no-brainer offer. And that's when you start getting those hell yes clients, and your connections will actually start leaning in and asking for those next steps, which that's super fun when somebody asks for those next steps. So all the time I get asked, well, Sue, that sounds great in theory. Take a screenshot of this picture. This is how you do it. This is the exact steps incorporated from the Prosperous Coach book and my own experience of over the last 16 years of how these are the steps I take when speaking to someone, talking to someone that actually end up as a client. And that initial conversation or that invitation to have a conversation with me is never, ever about selling anything. It's about building a relationship, know, like, and trust. I want to know what you do. I want you to know what I do. And a little peek into my heart and why I'm doing this is actually such a great conversation starter. And if someone has a problem that I could solve, I typically solve that problem for them free of charge and then offer that next step of a clarifying conversation. Hey, I think we could be great referral partners. Shall we have another conversation about our specific offers? Yes, then we do that. We have another conversation. We're getting to know each other. And then during that other conversation, the other person says, but Sue, I need what you offer. Amazing. Let's talk about that. Not then. Not, I have no desire to sell you right then. Let's have a proper conversation about what it looks like. So now we're talking a fourth conversation before we ever get to me offering you to work with me. Super authentic. And one, I actually get to know the people that I'm working with on such a deeper level that very rarely do I end up with a nightmare client or a customer. So I hope that helps and lets you see the exact pathway that I take. And, after that working together conversation, sometimes there's another conversation about money and timelines and what that's going to look like. And in between each of these steps, there's an email and there's a homework assignment and there's a challenge for that person. And by the time we get to the end and someone actually becomes a client or a member of my community, I know that they're there to do the work and to make a difference in the world. And that's all I really want from my clients. So if that makes sense to you, create that for yourself. So, how do you do that? Take this presentation and take that diagram and figure out your customer journey of authenticity like that and do what feels right for you and your business. And then nurture gently. When people say no, it might not be forever. I've had people say no and 8 years later hire me. That's the value of staying in touch and staying connected and staying active on social media so those people can see that you're consistent and you're still showing up. Really, really powerful. When somebody from 8 years ago calls me up and says, I'm finally ready. What would that do? Let me know in the comments what that would do for your business. If all those seeds that you've been planting forever finally said, I'm ready. How amazing would that be? Okay, your key takeaways today, which I love myself some good action steps. Connection, align with people who could be ideal clients or referral partners, reject the rest. Know your stories. Have 25 or 30 go-to stories that you can tell to build rapport and connection with people. 3, be of service. Serve your butt off. Help everybody in this room that you know, offer to help them, showcase yourself. And then 4, show up consistently where your ideal clients gather. Look, I'm doing it right now. I do what I teach, and that's amazing. to me. I never hired someone until 2 years ago to help me in my business who actually did what they teach. That's why it became a core value for me. I'm not going to teach my clients to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. That's part of it for me. Why is it part of it for me? Because I didn't receive that when I was starting out. Makes sense, right? What is that for you? And keep that in mind as you go out there and connect with people. I'm Suzanne Taylor-King, Master Certified Coach, Holistic Life Coach, positive psychology practitioner. I'm super positive and a little bit into Stoic philosophy. And if you'd like to reach out and connect with me, SuzanneTaylorKing.com. My free Facebook group is called the Idea Lab for Entrepreneurs, easily findable on Facebook. Thank you.
SDK, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're so welcome.
Amazing. So I would welcome everybody to put some questions in the chat. And one of the things I love is because I talk so much in this meeting, I get to ask the first question.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I love the idea of selling the outcome. I invited everybody to put their answer to what your outcome is that you're selling into the chat. And I think it would be really interesting to have you do one of two things with the group here, SDK.
Yeah.
One, show us how you flip the script in the LinkedIn. You talked about that where people
Mhm.
are DMing you. What does that conversation look like if you have examples? Or
Yeah.
if people will put their outcomes into the chat, take a look at those and provide some feedback on how we could um, better create the selling the outcome
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah. I would love that. And I think my favorite, and we all get these on LinkedIn, is the question when somebody says, "Oh, what would 20 or 30 more appointments on your calendar be like for you?" How many of you have gotten that? Let me see some hands. Yep. Here's my response. Sounds horrible. Sounds horrible. Now, one of two things happen. They respond back and say, "Oh no, why does that sound horrible?" And I respond with, "I'm very high touch, boutique coaching practice, and I generate 40 leads a week into my business, and having a more booked calendar is not one of my goals in life. I want to work less. Thank you so much." Well, 9 times out of 10, they say, "How do you do that? How do you get 40 leads a week?" Well, it's not from sending messages. Um, if you're interested, I'm happy to explain it to you. I have a YouTube video that I could send over that tells you exactly how I do it. Would you like to see it? And 8 out of 10 ask to see that video. There's no opt-in required. But I'm sharing with them a different way to do business. You don't have to send 1,000 messages on LinkedIn to random people. One girl actually became a client. She was a lead gen specialist. Now she is rebranded and remarketed herself. She is a business development expert for coaches, and she charges $3,000 a month to work with her. And she will also work with you on a commission basis. That was all me. I said, "Look, don't be lead gen when you could be business development, and do it from a really high level personal service. You'll get hired all day long and you won't have to send 1,000 messages." And so, whatever that looks like for you in your offer, um, you can flip those people by having an honest and real conversation. And if your calendar's not full and you have time to send 1,000 messages, you have time to talk to a couple people about what you do and just see if that reverse psychology can work.
I
Is
love
that
it.
helpful?
Yes, very much.
Awesome.
We've got some people in the chat putting what answering my request for what their outcome is, and then a
Mhm.
question about um, can you talk a little bit more about how you started and grew your Facebook community, and what are some tips for someone starting out?
Mm. My favorite thing about growing a Facebook group, my Facebook group only has about 1,200 people in it. But I am the admin of three other giant groups. Now, how did that happen? I have relationships with people who have Facebook groups that have between 60 and 400,000 people in it. And because I'm an admin in the group and I'm providing value, I create custom content just for those four groups. I am seen as more of an authority in that group. And I've partnered with many of those group leaders to do workshops, talks like this. My last talk with my AI mentor, who has a Facebook group of about 400,000 people, uh, resulted in 2,000 people to my email list and about 400 that wanted to book time with me. And I panicked. I was like, oh my God, 400 people? I don't want 400 people on my calendar. So I created a special calendar invite for those people and did group kind of get to know you calls. And that's a great problem to have, right? So many of you are struggling with numbers, how to get more eyes on what you do. Well, by adding value to other people and being of value, not only in their communities, maybe Facebook groups, maybe it's a podcast, maybe it's a YouTube channel. All of those different areas, you can provide value to people who have a little bit more of a following than you do, maybe a bigger email list than you do. And it becomes a really incredible value exchange. I'm in a mastermind group with my AI mentor. I pay to be there. And because of me showing up there in that group of 30 people, I have established a relationship with him. He's got an 80,000 person email list. He wanted to partner with me to do a workshop. Now I'm speaking on a stage with him next week that I would not have gotten on my own, just reaching out to that summit leader. It's an in-person conference. If I had reached out to her cold, I would have never gotten that speaking gig. But because he said, I want to partner with Suzanne to do the AI track of this conference, I was in. Relationships can drive everything for you if you're good at providing value to other people.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Anybody want to
Hey,
ask a question?
there are some people in the chat who have put their outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take a look at some of those and provide
Yeah.
feedback?
Okay, for Jim, who has a consulting business, you help companies get to market faster and achieve measurable outcomes. I love that outcome. Just make it sexier. Jim, making more money, getting to market faster so that you can vacation with your family faster. That's really attractive to people, especially with go-to-market strategies. And if you're into AI, have a custom GPT. People love them and they're super fun to use. And that custom GPT could sell your outcomes for you every time somebody uses it. So that would really up the tech factor. And if you're selling more time, because I'm going to help you go to market faster. I'm going to help you make money faster so that you can vacation faster with your family and get the actual ROI of being an entrepreneur. That's super sexy and really attractive. And don't be afraid to voice that.
Perfect. Thank you, Susan.
You're so welcome. All right. Medical device, Mike Russell. Um, mind explaining commercialization consulting for me, Mike Russell?
Yes, 34 years in the medical device industry, working with the very large billion-dollar companies first half of my career. The second half of my career has spent really helping early stage startups with all aspects of their commercialization process that
Hmm.
have to do with sales, marketing, and business development.
Okay. Again, it just sounds boring. And if you're dealing with doctors who are short on time and you're dealing with early startup tech companies or device companies, they need speed. They need you, your result needs to be saving them time. Making them money, yes, but really time is the key. The last doctor that I worked with had 9 practices and was doing really, really well financially. He had interviewed 4 business coaches to help him scale his business. 3 business coaches said, let's just open more offices. Let's do more of what you're currently doing. I said to him, do you want to do more of what you're currently doing and spend less time being a doctor? No, I want to be a doctor more. I said, great. My recommendation would be to license your intellectual property. Hal, you're a doctor and you make $9 million a year as a doctor. Not many doctors can do that. That's valuable to other doctors. Let's sell that to make you more money. And he was like, oh my God, oh my God. He never would have thought of that. And that's where my unique genius, think outside of the box for those people. And what does that mean? What does that mean for them in regards to commercializing, right? And when you think out of the box, doctors are very linear. They don't think out of the box at all. So that'll be really, really helpful for you.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. High performance leaders. This is a good one. Um, is that Reza? Is that how you say it? Reza? Is that how you say it? Awesome. So really, really
That
difficult
is how you say
niche.
it. Perfect.
Awesome. Well, really difficult niche. And here's the best thing I have ever found. If you want to work with high performing people, don't say high performing people. Just have that next level of standard that you live by for yourself, and that'll rub off on everyone that you hang out with, everybody that's around you. And high performers don't have excuses. High performers don't believe they have a problem ever because I'm a high performer. I don't have any problems. So if you speak to problems, you're going to sell less. Speak to those end results. Doesn't matter how you're going to get me there, but if you're going to make me more money and get me on more vacations with my family, you're hired. The method doesn't matter. Keep that in mind.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
I think
All
we've got
right.
time maybe for one more here. Maybe
Okay.
Brian says we provide just above a few from Reza. We provide confidence to nurses before high stakes emergencies surface, so they
Mm,
respond effectively when it counts.
okay. So again, that has to be tied to income or level of service. So somehow figure out what those nurses want. Do they want to be the top nurse on the floor? Do they want to be the highest paid nurse on the floor? Do they want to be a manager? Do they want to rise above that glass ceiling? And if you don't know, talk to a couple of them, do some market research when it comes to those nurses and actually ask what they want. They want to be more valued. So if that's the path, then your product helps them be more valuable, not only at their job, but but for their patients as well.
That's awesome. Thank you for the feedback. I think this
Yeah,
has been really helpful to have you kind of go through some real life scenarios with the group. That's a lot of what we focus on is kind of execution and what you can implement in your business today. So
yeah,
really appreciate the presentation, Suzanne. We've got your presentation and we'll send that out to all of the attendees. I
wonderful.
think Jeff Holman put your website in the chat up
Thank
above
you.
ways. But really appreciate you being here. And other than email or LinkedIn, do you have preferences on how people reach out to you?
Well, I love LinkedIn. That's my platform of choice. That's where most of my followers are. Though I am kind of popular on Facebook because of my group, but really LinkedIn is where I post my best content and my events. And if you want to have a conversation about anything I've talked about today, I'm happy to share my link to schedule a 20-minute call as well.
Phenomenal. We'll send out this presentation and please connect with STK on LinkedIn. Thank you again so much.
You're
Amazing
welcome.
content and amazing education. Thanks,
You're
STK.
welcome. Yeah, look forward to our conversation, Taylor.
Sounds good.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you all later. We'll see you next week, same time.